She lived a quiet life, one that many people might overlook. The daughter of a maid, she had grown up understanding the value of hard work and kindness. Every day was routine. School in the morning, helping her mother at home in the afternoon, and small joys in the evenings, like reading a book or watching the sunset from the balcony. Her life was simple, but she had a heart full of dreams, even if those dreams seemed far away in her small world. Her mother worked tirelessly to make ends meet. She cleaned homes, cooked, and did everything in her power to provide a decent life for her daughter. Despite the challenges, she always encouraged her daughter to be honest, polite, and confident. The young woman had learned to take pride in her modest background, even if the world often looked down upon people like her. She never complained, and she never envied anyone. She believed that one day, good things would come to those who remained true to themselves. One morning, while sipping tea in their small kitchen, she received a message from a friend she had grown up with. The message was playful, teasing, and a little mischievous. Her friends had always loved to joke around, but this time the joke was bigger than usual. They suggested setting her up on a blind date. First, she laughed it off. She had never been on a proper date, and the idea seemed funny in a way that made her heart beat faster. Her friends assured her that it was just for fun, that she didn't need to take it seriously. Yet, a small part of her wondered what it would be like to meet someone who looked at her without judging her background. Despite her nervousness, she agreed. After all, she trusted her friends, and part of her was curious. Maybe this would be a night filled with laughter, maybe even a story she could tell for years. What she didn't know was that this night would change everything. On the day of the blind date, she spent hours preparing herself. She chose a simple yet elegant outfit, one that made her feel confident without being flashy. Her mother watched her with a mixture of pride and worry. She remembered the stories she had heard from other mothers, how sometimes a young woman's heart could be hurt easily. She gave her daughter a gentle hug and whispered, "Be yourself. That is enough." The journey to the restaurant was quiet, filled with her thoughts and a touch of excitement. She wondered who she would meet, what they would be like, and how she would manage small talk without stumbling over her words. Her friends had already warned her that it was all a joke, but she couldn't shake off the feeling that maybe, just maybe, this evening would be special. Meanwhile, at a luxurious residence far from her small apartment, the young man she was about to meet was also preparing for the evening. He was the son of a billionaire, someone who had never experienced ordinary life in the way she had. His days were filled with meetings, social events, and expectations from people who constantly reminded him of his wealth. Despite the luxury surrounding him, he often felt a sense of emptiness. Genuine people were rare in his life. Most were drawn to him for his family name rather than his personality. He didn't know what to expect from the blind date either. To him, it was an unusual break from his routine. His friends had arranged the meeting as a casual joke, a way to see how someone completely different from his world would react to his life. But deep down, he hoped it wouldn't be awkward or disappointing. He had grown tired of superficial conversations and yearned for someone real. When she arrived at the restaurant, she felt a mixture of nerves and curiosity. The place was fancy, with soft lighting, polished tables, and a quiet hum of people enjoying their meals. She looked around, feeling slightly out of place, yet determined to carry herself with dignity. Her friends were hidden at a nearby table, trying to suppress their laughter as they observed how she would handle the evening. The young man arrived a few minutes later. From the moment they saw each other, there was a quiet recognition of difference. He noticed her modest attire, her natural demeanor, and the way she carried herself. She noticed his composed posture, the subtle elegance in his appearance, and a calm confidence that made him stand out. Neither knew yet how deep this connection could go, but there was a spark of curiosity in their eyes. They started with small talk, sharing simple stories about their lives, hobbies, and daily routines. To her surprise, he listened attentively, asking questions that showed genuine interest. She was used to people pretending to care, but his attention was sincere. Slowly, she began to relax, her laughter coming naturally, not forced. For the first time, she felt like someone truly saw her, not just her social background or her role as a maid's daughter. As the conversation continued, they discovered common interests that transcended their differences. They both loved reading, appreciated the beauty of small things, and valued honesty above all else. Despite the differences in their worlds, there was a sense of understanding growing between them. She shared stories of her childhood, the struggles, and the small victories, while he spoke about his challenges growing up in wealth, feeling isolated despite being surrounded by luxury. Her friends watched in disbelief. The joke they had planned was not unfolding as they expected. Instead of awkward moments or embarrassing situations, they saw laughter, respect, and genuine connection. The maid's daughter, who had always been humble and unassuming, was holding her own with a billionaire's son, engaging in conversations that were meaningful and heartfelt. The evening, which was meant as a prank, was becoming something unexpectedly beautiful. Throughout the dinner, she maintained her humility, never letting the difference in their social status intimidate her. He, on the other hand, was captivated by her authenticity. He realized that he had never met someone so grounded, someone who could talk about dreams and challenges without pretending or exaggerating. In that moment, the walls they had both built around themselves began to crumble. The night ended with a simple exchange of smiles and polite goodbyes, but both felt a lingering connection neither could ignore. The maid's daughter walked home with a heart full of new emotions: curiosity, excitement, and a faint hope that maybe life had something extraordinary in store for her. He returned to his luxurious home, reflecting on the rarity of the encounter, realizing that genuine human connection could not be bought or planned. That night, as she lay in bed, she thought about the evening again and again. She couldn't believe that a simple prank had led to such an unexpected experience. She felt proud of herself for staying true, for showing her real self without fear or pretense. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge, surprise, and ultimately change her life forever. The prank had unintentionally opened a door to a new world, one filled with possibilities she had never imagined, and a story that was just beginning to unfold. The next evening, she found herself thinking about the blind date more than she had expected. The laughter, the warmth, and the genuine attention had stayed in her mind, making her smile at unexpected moments. She had gone to bed feeling a mixture of excitement and uncertainty. It was strange to feel so connected to someone she had just met, someone whose life was so different from hers. Yet, there was something about the night that felt real, authentic, and promising. Her friends, meanwhile, could not stop talking about the blind date. What had started as a playful joke had taken a turn none of them had anticipated. They had expected awkward silences, forced conversations, and maybe a few embarrassing moments, but instead, they had witnessed something extraordinary. The young woman had handled herself with grace, and the billionaire's son had been captivated by her natural charm. They were amazed at how quickly a genuine connection had formed between two people from such different worlds. The maid's daughter tried to carry on with her daily routine, but her mind kept drifting back to that evening. She thought about the way he had listened, the questions he had asked, and the small laughs they had shared. She wondered if he felt the same way she did, or if it was just a polite evening for him. The uncertainty made her heart race, but she couldn't deny the pull she felt toward him. As for the young man, he was replaying the evening in his mind as well. In his world, where most interactions were superficial, her authenticity was like a breath of fresh air. He admired how she spoke from the heart, how she shared her thoughts without fear of judgment. Her smile, her gestures, and her natural elegance had left a lasting impression. He found himself wanting to know more about her, to see her again, and to discover the layers beneath her simple exterior. A few days later, they arranged to meet again, this time not as part of a prank, but as two people genuinely interested in getting to know each other. She felt nervous as she prepared for this second encounter, wondering if the magic of the first night could be repeated. She chose a modest outfit, one that reflected her personality and made her feel comfortable. Her mother watched her with quiet support, sensing that something important was beginning. When they met, the atmosphere was different from the first evening. There were no hidden observers, no jokes, just two individuals curious about each other. They walked through a nearby park, talking about their families, dreams, and challenges. She shared stories of her childhood, the struggles of growing up with limited means, and the joy she found in small accomplishments. He listened attentively, occasionally sharing glimpses of his own life, the pressures of wealth, and the loneliness that sometimes came with it. As the hours passed, their connection deepened. They discovered shared interests, similar values, and a surprising understanding of each other's perspectives. She admired his humility and the way he treated people around him with genuine respect. He admired her resilience, intelligence, and the way she carried herself despite the hardships she had faced. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, laughter and meaningful discussions intertwining in a way that made the time pass quickly. During a quiet moment, they sat by a fountain, watching the water reflect the soft glow of streetlights. The young man turned to her and spoke with sincerity, expressing how much he enjoyed their time together. He admitted that her presence had a calming effect on him, something he rarely experienced. She blushed, feeling a warmth she had never felt before. It was a moment of honesty, free from pretenses, and both felt the growing bond between them. Over the following weeks, they continued to meet in casual, unpretentious settings. They explored small cafes, walked through neighborhoods she knew well, and shared stories that revealed their true selves. The maid's daughter began to feel more comfortable around him, appreciating his efforts to understand her world rather than impress her with his own. He, in turn, valued her authenticity, the way she approached life with honesty and grace. Their conversations often touched on deeper topics, dreams for the future, fears, and the lessons they had learned from their pasts. She spoke about her mother's sacrifices, the importance of kindness, and her belief that integrity mattered more than wealth. He shared his struggles with expectations, the burden of living up to a family name, and his desire to find people who valued him for who he truly was. Through these discussions, a sense of mutual respect and understanding blossomed. Her friends, who had initially planned the prank, watched from a distance, amazed at how genuine their relationship had become. They realized that their joke had unintentionally created an opportunity for two people to connect on a meaningful level. The blind date that was meant to entertain had transformed into a journey of discovery, trust, and growing affection. One afternoon, as they strolled through a quiet street, he gently took her hand, a gesture that surprised her but also made her heart flutter. She felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness, realizing that the bond between them was becoming more personal. He didn't rush. He respected her space and her pace, which made her feel valued and understood. This careful consideration strengthened her trust in him and deepened her feelings. As their time together continued, small gestures became significant. He remembered the little things she mentioned, surprising her with thoughtful actions that showed he truly listened. She appreciated his attentiveness, the way he noticed details about her preferences and respected her boundaries. These moments, simple yet meaningful, created a foundation of trust and genuine care between them. Despite the growing connection, she sometimes struggled with the difference in their worlds. She worried about fitting into a life so different from her own, about how others might perceive her, and whether their relationship could survive the scrutiny that came with his wealth. He, too, understood these concerns and made efforts to reassure her. He emphasized that her background did not matter to him, that he valued her for her heart, her mind, and her character. One evening, after a long walk and a heartfelt conversation, they sat on a bench overlooking the city lights. She spoke about her dreams, the kind of life she hoped to build, and the importance of staying true to herself. He listened quietly, then shared his own vision for the future, one that included not just wealth but meaningful connections and genuine happiness. In that moment, they both realized that their bond was more than a fleeting attraction. It was a foundation for something deeper. Their relationship, still new, continued to grow with patience and understanding. The maid's daughter learned to navigate moments of doubt with his reassurance, while he learned to value simplicity and sincerity through her eyes. Each meeting strengthened their connection, revealing layers of personality, empathy, and shared values that neither had anticipated. As the days turned into weeks, they began to understand the impact they had on each other's lives. She felt more confident, more hopeful about the future, and more certain of her worth. He felt a sense of peace and joy he had rarely experienced, discovering that genuine connection could bring fulfillment beyond material wealth. Together, they navigated the complexities of their worlds, finding comfort, laughter, and understanding in each other's presence. Through these shared experiences, the initial prank faded into the background, replaced by a genuine friendship that was slowly blossoming into love. They discovered that despite the differences in their lives, the qualities that truly mattered, honesty, kindness, and understanding, were what brought them closer. The maid's daughter and the billionaire's son had begun a journey that neither had expected, a journey that was real, human, and full of possibilities. As their meetings continued, the bond between the maid's daughter and the billionaire's son grew stronger with each passing day. They spent hours talking about everything and nothing, sometimes walking through quiet streets, other times sharing small meals at unassuming cafes. The simplicity of these moments made her feel comfortable, and she began to understand that he valued her presence for who she truly was, not for appearances or social expectations. The young man started to open up more about his life. He spoke about the pressures of his family, the constant scrutiny, and the isolation that came with wealth. He explained how difficult it was to find people who truly understood him or cared about his heart rather than his name. She listened with empathy, offering support and gentle advice, never judging him for his privilege. Her words were sincere, and her kindness shone through. In turn, he admired her resilience, the way she faced life's challenges with courage and a positive attitude. One afternoon, they decided to visit a small park she loved from her childhood. She shared memories of the time she spent there with her friends and family, describing the laughter, the games, and the simple joy of playing under the sun. He listened attentively, genuinely interested in every detail. He began to appreciate her world, so different from his own, and felt inspired by her ability to find happiness in small, ordinary things. She too learned more about him. Beyond the luxury and fame, she discovered a man who was thoughtful, patient, and deeply caring. He had a sense of responsibility, not just toward his family but also toward the people he met along the way. She realized that despite the differences in their social backgrounds, they shared similar values: honesty, compassion, and the desire to make the world a better place. As days turned into weeks, their connection grew more personal. He began to show small gestures of affection, such as remembering her favorite tea or bringing her little gifts that reflected her personality rather than extravagance. She felt touched by these thoughtful actions, realizing that he noticed the details that mattered to her. These moments strengthened the bond between them, creating trust and comfort. One evening, after a long walk, they sat on a quiet bench, watching the sun set over the city. The colors in the sky mirrored the warmth they felt in each other's company. The young man turned to her and spoke softly, expressing how much he valued their time together. She smiled, feeling a mixture of happiness and nervousness. It was a rare moment of vulnerability for both of them, and it brought them even closer. During their conversations, they often explored deeper topics. She spoke about her dreams, her desire to support her mother, and her hope to create a meaningful life. He shared his aspirations, his struggles with family expectations, and the loneliness that sometimes accompanied his wealth. These honest discussions helped them understand each other on a profound level, revealing their fears, hopes, and values. Her friends continued to watch from afar, amazed at how their prank had turned into something genuine. The young woman, who had once been hesitant and unsure, was now confident, sharing her thoughts and feelings openly. The billionaire's son, who had been accustomed to superficial relationships, was learning to appreciate authenticity and humility. Both were growing together, discovering the beauty of a connection built on mutual respect and understanding. One rainy afternoon, they found themselves seeking shelter under a small awning. As they waited for the rain to pass, they talked about the unpredictability of life and the importance of embracing moments of joy. The sound of rain, the shared laughter, and the quiet conversation created an intimate atmosphere. She felt a sense of belonging she had never experienced before, while he felt a warmth in his heart that went beyond material wealth. As the seasons changed, so did their relationship. They learned to navigate challenges together, offering support during difficult times. She helped him see the beauty in simplicity, while he encouraged her to believe in her own potential. Their partnership was a balance of giving and receiving, learning and growing. Each encounter added layers to their connection, building a foundation of trust, care, and affection. They began to understand that their differences were not obstacles but opportunities to learn from each other. He admired her ability to remain grounded despite the hardships she had faced, and she respected his efforts to see the world beyond privilege. Their interactions were filled with moments of laughter, thoughtful conversations, and small acts of kindness that spoke volumes about their characters. One day, as they sat in a quiet corner of a library she loved, she shared a personal story about her childhood, the sacrifices her mother had made, and the dreams she held for the future. He listened without interruption, nodding and offering encouragement. He appreciated her honesty and the courage it took to share such intimate details. She, in turn, recognized his sincerity, the way he genuinely wanted to understand her life and experiences. Their growing closeness did not go unnoticed by those around them. Friends, family, and acquaintances began to see the change in both of them, the way they supported each other, the way they communicated openly, and the respect they held for one another. The maid's daughter, who had once been hesitant about relationships, found herself feeling safe and valued. The billionaire's son discovered the joy of a connection untainted by status or expectation. As they spent more time together, small challenges arose, but they faced them with patience and understanding. Misunderstandings were resolved through conversation, and differences were embraced rather than ignored. Each challenge strengthened their bond, teaching them the importance of empathy, compromise, and honesty in a relationship. One evening, after a long day of walking through the city, they found a quiet spot on a rooftop overlooking the lights below. They sat together in comfortable silence, enjoying the beauty of the moment. She leaned her head slightly toward him, feeling a sense of peace and connection. He held her hand gently, appreciating the trust and warmth between them. In that quiet moment, both realized how much they had come to mean to each other. Their relationship was no longer just about curiosity or novelty. It had become a source of joy, comfort, and inspiration. They celebrated small victories, shared dreams, and offered support during difficult times. The maid's daughter learned to embrace her own strengths and value her experiences, while the billionaire's son discovered the richness of genuine human connection. Through it all, they never forgot the humble beginnings of their relationship. What had started as a playful prank had blossomed into something real and meaningful. They understood that life's surprises often came in unexpected ways, and that true connection was built on trust, respect, and authenticity. As the night drew to a close, they walked together through the quiet streets, feeling a sense of gratitude for the moments they had shared. The maid's daughter felt a growing sense of confidence and hope, realizing that she had found someone who truly saw her for who she was. The billionaire's son felt a deep appreciation for her presence, recognizing the rarity of finding someone so genuine in a world that often valued appearances over character. In the days that followed, they continued to nurture their bond, discovering new aspects of each other's personalities and deepening their understanding. Their story was one of patience, respect, and the quiet beauty of two people learning to see the world through each other's eyes. The connection they had built was a testament to the power of authenticity, kindness, and the willingness to embrace life's unexpected opportunities. Every meeting, every conversation, and every shared moment added to the tapestry of their relationship. They discovered that love and friendship were not determined by social status or wealth, but by the willingness to understand, respect, and support one another. The maid's daughter and the billionaire's son had embarked on a journey that transcended the boundaries of their worlds, creating a story that was heartfelt, real, and full of promise. Several weeks had passed since their first meeting, and the bond between the maid's daughter and the billionaire's son had grown into something deep and meaningful. They spent most of their free time together, exploring the city, sharing stories, and enjoying the simplicity of each other's company. The young woman had grown comfortable in his presence, trusting him in ways she had never trusted anyone before. He admired her strength, her resilience, and the way she faced the world with honesty and courage. One evening, they decided to have dinner at a quiet restaurant, a place far removed from the grandeur of his usual lifestyle. As they sat across from each other, talking and laughing like old friends, she began to notice something in his demeanor. There was a certain seriousness in his eyes, a weight that hadn't been there before. She wondered if she had said something wrong or if he was troubled by something. Sensing her concern, he reached across the table and gently took her hand, reassuring her that everything was fine. He then shared a part of his life that he had kept hidden from her until now. With a calm but deliberate tone, he explained who he really was, the son of one of the wealthiest and most influential families in the country. He spoke about the responsibilities that came with his position, the public scrutiny, and the expectations that were placed upon him. He admitted that he had been nervous about telling her, fearing that the truth might change the way she saw him. The maid's daughter felt a mix of emotions. She was surprised and overwhelmed, struggling to process the revelation. For a moment, she felt small and uncertain, wondering if she could truly belong in a world so different from her own. Her mind raced with questions about how their relationship would continue, how others might perceive her, and whether their bond could survive the challenges that wealth and status could bring. Seeing the hesitation in her eyes, he reassured her with sincerity. He emphasized that his wealth and social position did not matter to him when it came to her. What he valued most was her heart, her honesty, and the way she treated others. He explained that he had grown tired of superficial relationships and had never met someone as genuine as her. His words were heartfelt, and she could feel the truth in every sentence. They left the restaurant and walked through the quiet streets, the night air cool and refreshing. She remained thoughtful, processing the revelation and the implications it might have on their future. Despite the shock, she felt a sense of relief knowing that his feelings for her were genuine and not influenced by her social status. She began to realize that the connection they had built was stronger than any material barrier. As days went by, the initial surprise settled into a deeper understanding. She appreciated his honesty and the courage it took to share such a significant part of his life. He, in turn, admired her ability to remain grounded and true to herself despite the challenges she faced. Their relationship became a balance of giving and receiving, with both learning to support and understand each other in meaningful ways. However, challenges were inevitable. She sometimes struggled with feelings of insecurity, questioning whether she could fit into his world or if she would be judged by others. He recognized these moments and made efforts to reassure her, reminding her that their bond was built on authenticity, trust, and mutual respect. Together, they navigated these emotions, growing stronger and more confident in their connection. One afternoon, they visited a small garden tucked away in the city, a place she had loved since childhood. Surrounded by flowers and the gentle hum of nature, they talked about their dreams and fears. She shared her aspirations for the future, her desire to support her mother, and the hope of creating a life filled with meaning and happiness. He listened intently, offering encouragement and sharing his own vision for a future that included not just wealth but fulfillment and genuine relationships. In these quiet moments, they discovered a profound understanding of each other's worlds. She learned about the complexities of his life, the pressures he faced, and the rare moments of freedom he cherished. He learned about her resilience, the values instilled in her by her mother, and the simple joys that brought her happiness. Their differences became a source of fascination and learning rather than a barrier. As their relationship progressed, they faced small obstacles that tested their patience and understanding. Misunderstandings occasionally arose, but they addressed them through open and honest conversations. Each challenge became an opportunity to strengthen their bond, teaching them the importance of empathy, communication, and compromise. Through these experiences, they built a foundation of trust and mutual respect. Her friends, who had once orchestrated the prank, continued to watch from a distance, amazed at the transformation. The maid's daughter, who had been hesitant and unsure, now radiated confidence and self-assurance. The billionaire's son, who had been accustomed to superficial interactions, now experienced the joy of a connection built on authenticity and love. Their journey was no longer about novelty or curiosity. It was about genuine human connection. One evening, as they sat by a quiet riverbank, she reflected on how far they had come. The revelation of his true identity had initially caused fear and uncertainty, but it had also deepened their understanding and trust. She realized that the essence of their relationship was not defined by wealth or social standing, but by the respect, care, and honesty they shared. The fear of judgment began to fade, replaced by a sense of empowerment and belonging. He, too, felt a renewed sense of clarity and purpose. He recognized that finding someone who valued him for his character rather than his wealth was a rare gift. Her presence had brought balance and meaning into his life, and he cherished the authenticity and warmth she brought to every interaction. Together, they were learning to navigate a world full of contrasts, finding harmony in their differences. As the nights passed, they continued to explore each other's lives with curiosity and openness. They shared small joys, celebrated achievements, and supported one another through challenges. The maid's daughter grew more confident in her role as his partner, understanding that her worth was not defined by material wealth, but by her integrity, kindness, and strength. The billionaire's son embraced the simplicity and honesty she brought into his life, finding comfort in the authenticity of their connection. Through these experiences, they realized that love was not about grand gestures or lavish displays, but about presence, understanding, and mutual support. They cherished the moments of laughter, the quiet conversations, and the shared experiences that brought them closer. The initial prank had inadvertently led to a profound and meaningful relationship, demonstrating the power of authenticity and the unpredictability of life's journey. One day, as they walked hand in hand through a quiet park, she spoke about her hopes for the future. She envisioned a life where she could remain true to herself while embracing new opportunities. He listened carefully, offering encouragement and support, emphasizing that their connection was built on respect and mutual understanding. In that moment, they both recognized the strength of their bond and the potential for a shared future. Their relationship continued to flourish, marked by trust, patience, and genuine care. Each day brought new discoveries, shared experiences, and moments of connection that deepened their understanding of one another. The maid's daughter learned to embrace her strengths and value her experiences, while the billionaire's son discovered the richness of a relationship grounded in authenticity and love. Through the revelation of his identity, they had faced uncertainty and fear, but they had also found clarity, trust, and a deeper appreciation for one another. Their journey was a testament to the power of honesty, empathy, and the willingness to embrace life's unexpected turns. What had begun as a playful prank had transformed into a meaningful connection that neither had anticipated, paving the way for a story filled with hope, love, and understanding. As they watched the sunset together, she realized that their bond was more than just romance. It was a partnership built on mutual respect, shared values, and the courage to embrace each other's differences. He felt a sense of peace and fulfillment, knowing that he had found someone who truly understood him and valued his heart. Together, they were creating a life defined not by wealth or status, but by authenticity, care, and the quiet beauty of human connection. The weeks that followed the revelation were filled with growth, understanding, and moments of unexpected joy. The maid's daughter and the billionaire's son continued to nurture their relationship, learning to navigate the differences in their lives with patience and empathy. She found comfort in knowing that despite the challenges, his feelings for her were sincere and unwavering. He admired the way she remained true to herself, her integrity shining brighter than any wealth could offer. Their days together were simple yet meaningful. They spent mornings walking through quiet streets, afternoons exploring small markets, and evenings sitting on benches watching the city lights flicker in the distance. Each shared moment allowed them to see the world through each other's eyes. She showed him the beauty of ordinary life, the joy in small victories, and the value of kindness in everyday interactions. He introduced her to experiences she had never imagined, but always with respect and care, ensuring she felt comfortable and valued. Despite their growing closeness, they both remained aware of the challenges that lay ahead. Society often judged relationships based on wealth and status, and the difference between their worlds was apparent. She sometimes questioned if she could truly fit into his life, while he worried about how their bond would be perceived. Yet, rather than allowing these fears to divide them, they faced them together, communicating openly and offering reassurance whenever doubt crept in. One rainy afternoon, they found themselves sharing an umbrella as they walked through a familiar park. The rain pattered softly around them, creating an intimate, cozy atmosphere. She laughed as he tried to shield her from getting wet, and in that laughter, there was a sense of freedom and ease that only grew stronger over time. The moments of shared joy, simple and unplanned, reinforced their connection and reminded them of the beauty in living fully in the present. Their conversations deepened, often touching on dreams for the future. She spoke about her hope to support her mother, to continue her studies, and to build a life rooted in honesty and compassion. He shared his vision of a world where he could make a positive impact, not just through wealth but through meaningful relationships and actions. They discovered that their values aligned more closely than they had imagined, and in this alignment, a profound understanding blossomed. As time passed, small gestures became significant. He remembered her favorite flowers and occasionally surprised her with them, not as a display of wealth but as a token of attentiveness. She appreciated the thoughtfulness, recognizing that he noticed details that mattered to her. These moments, quiet and sincere, deepened the trust and intimacy between them, allowing them to grow closer without pressure or pretense. One evening, they sat on a rooftop, watching the stars begin to appear in the darkening sky. She leaned lightly against him, feeling the warmth of his presence, and he gently took her hand. In the quiet, he expressed how much her presence had changed his life. She smiled, feeling a sense of belonging and acceptance that she had never known before. In that moment, they both understood that their relationship was no longer just about novelty or curiosity. It was a bond rooted in mutual respect, care, and understanding. The maid's daughter also began to experience personal growth. Her confidence grew as she navigated new experiences, knowing that her worth was not determined by wealth, but by her character and actions. She embraced opportunities she had once hesitated to pursue, encouraged by the support and belief he had in her. Through this growth, she became more aware of her own potential, recognizing that she could contribute meaningfully to the world around her. He, in turn, learned from her resilience and perspective. He discovered the importance of authenticity, the value of humility, and the joy of living simply without the constant pressure of expectations. Her presence reminded him that true happiness came from connection, understanding, and shared experiences rather than material wealth. Together, they created a balance, each learning from the other and growing stronger as a result. Their relationship was not without its challenges. Occasional doubts and insecurities arose, often related to their different social backgrounds. She sometimes worried about being judged by those around him, while he feared that their differences could create misunderstandings or barriers. Yet, these challenges became opportunities for honest dialogue and deeper understanding. They faced each obstacle together, reinforcing the trust and bond that had been developing since their first meeting. One weekend, they visited a small town that she had always loved. Walking through the streets filled with familiar sights, she felt a sense of nostalgia and happiness. He observed how she interacted with the people, appreciating her warmth and humility. The experience highlighted the contrast between their worlds, but it also reinforced their mutual respect. He admired her ability to remain grounded, while she appreciated his willingness to embrace her world without judgment. As their relationship matured, they began to discuss the future more openly. They spoke about dreams, aspirations, and the kind of life they hoped to build together. She expressed her desire to maintain her values and stay connected to her roots, while he shared his wish to create a partnership based on mutual respect, understanding, and love. These conversations strengthened their commitment, showing that despite their differences, their hearts were aligned. One evening, after a long day filled with shared laughter and meaningful conversation, they sat quietly by a river. The gentle sound of flowing water created a peaceful backdrop, allowing them to reflect on the journey they had taken together. She realized that the bond they shared was unique and irreplaceable, built on honesty, trust, and a deep understanding of each other. He felt the same, appreciating the authenticity and warmth she brought into his life. They continued to support each other through challenges, celebrating small victories and offering encouragement during difficult times. Their relationship became a source of strength and inspiration, reminding them that love was not about grand gestures or material wealth, but about presence, care, and understanding. Every shared smile, thoughtful word, and act of kindness reinforced the foundation of their connection. Her friends, who had once arranged the prank, marveled at the transformation. The maid's daughter, who had initially been hesitant and unsure, was now confident, happy, and secure in the knowledge that she was valued for who she truly was. The billionaire's son, who had been accustomed to superficial relationships, had found someone who saw and appreciated him for his heart rather than his wealth. Their journey was a testament to the power of authenticity, patience, and genuine human connection. Over time, they became inseparable, each finding comfort and joy in the other's presence. They navigated life's ups and downs together, learning to appreciate the small moments and celebrate the shared experiences that strengthened their bond. She learned that love could be gentle and patient, while he discovered that true connection required openness, empathy, and understanding. One special evening, as they watched the sun set from a quiet hilltop, they reflected on how far they had come. The initial prank that had brought them together seemed like a distant memory, replaced by a deep and enduring connection. She felt gratitude for the experiences, the challenges, and the moments of laughter that had shaped their relationship. He felt a sense of fulfillment, knowing that he had found someone who truly understood and valued him. They realized that their story was more than just a romance. It was a journey of growth, trust, and mutual understanding. They had learned to navigate differences with patience, to communicate openly and honestly, and to support each other through life's challenges. Their connection was a reminder that true relationships are built on respect, empathy, and authenticity. In the final moments of that evening, as the sky turned from orange to deep blue, they held hands and looked at each other with quiet certainty. They understood that their bond was rare, precious, and worth nurturing. The maid's daughter and the billionaire's son had found in each other a partnership that transcended wealth, social status, and expectations. A connection rooted in honesty, kindness, and love. Their journey had begun as a playful prank, but had evolved into a story of transformation, discovery, and enduring affection. They had faced challenges, embraced differences, and grown together in ways neither had anticipated. The experiences they shared, the lessons they learned, and the moments of genuine connection had created a foundation that would support them for a lifetime. As they walked back home, hand in hand, they felt a sense of peace and joy that came from knowing they had found something extraordinary. The maid's daughter, who had once lived a simple life filled with routine, now had a future filled with love, understanding, and new possibilities. The billionaire's son, who had once felt isolated despite his wealth, had discovered the depth of genuine connection and the beauty of authenticity. Together, they embraced the journey ahead, knowing that life would continue to bring challenges and surprises. Yet, with trust, empathy, and love as their foundation, they were confident that they could face anything together. Their story, which began as a harmless prank, had blossomed into a meaningful and enduring bond, a testament to the power of authenticity, courage, and the human heart.